Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you may be, because uh, wherever you may be in the world, you will not be able to dodge the effects of the American lunacy across the world. Now, I have watched everything that has happened with both a mix of curiosity, astonishment, disgust, rarely fear, because fear is a very it's a very weird feeling to have. Okay, you may have fear for a couple of things, but to fear as you grow older, this is what I'm trying to say, you realize that fear is useless. There is no use in being afraid because things will hit you whatever you do, and fear is just a very human, a very natural. Okay, please don't misunderstand me. Feeling to have, but it's quite useless, and it makes us have to take in better said, to take emotional decisions when we should be pragmatic and cold about it. Now, I will start by saying this: if this war ended, because this is a war, okay, this is not a special military operation, okay, uh, that is rather Putinesque. This is a war. Because if you have two countries attacking another country, that is called a war. That entire his story of I'm going to make a military intervention to pacify this area of the world, that's all bullshit. A war is a war. But if all of this was to stop today and a degree of peace would be obtained between the parties, the long term effects would be felt at least during 6 months to a year or more. Because you see, oil would not magically drop in price again. Gas at the pump station, it would not go down magically again. And the effects on food production, on on fertilizer production, helium, very big production in that the region, all of that, it would not magically become the same, so to speak, as it was before. And it doesn't matter if Europe only sources a fraction, even less than what some countries still buy from Russia. Unfortunately, thank you, Mr. Orban, you bullshitter. Despite that, it makes no difference because we are talking about a commodity, oil, that is sourced and purchased and used across the world. So the people that are selling us oil will have to increase their prices. It's as simple as that. And Europe is getting its oil and gas mostly from Algeria, from Nigeria, from the United States has that sells about almost half of our entire needs in oil and LNG, especially now that Russia is out of the equation, and also Canada and a couple of other minor actors that even included Venezuela. So, but it doesn't matter if we don't source anything from the region, because if oil prices rise, it affects all the markets. This is the first thing that you have to understand. And to all of those that hear those YouTubers that are screaming that they are taking advantage of it and to raise the prices and do this and do that, and we produce our own oil, so why should we buy it more expensive and all of that. uh, if you are listening to people like that, then you are listening to an idiot. You are listening to someone that has absolutely zero idea on how economy functions. And me, I don't have a degree in economics. Okay, I only have 3 years in political economics. Okay, I did not finish my degree because I had to go and work. Something that unfortunately happens to a lot of people. And look, it's something that I'm not really bothered about. Okay, because not having the degree does not impede my ability to know what the hell I'm talking about. Cheers. It's water. All right, now let's continue. Right now, the United States has a president that is clearly uh, deranged. Deranged in the sense that it's a person that doesn't really know exactly what he is doing or saying, and how his actions and his words can have an instant effect on the economy and on the relationships with other countries. Because you see, uh, the man has no brakes right now. He's surrounded by sycophants that think like him and that are only there to grift and enrich themselves as much as they can, including his family. And this does not excuse the character of the person that has been accused of crimes of pedophilia, of rape, of murder, and even cannibalism. Yes, this is truth. This is true. The president of the United States is being accused of eating babies. Look, I'm going to say this to you, and I am not saying that it is true or lie, but the mere fact that these things exist, some of them, the cannibalism, I'm not so certain, okay, because people make up a lot of shit, and if you take a look, like I have done for my videos in this channel and in others, regarding the subject, if you take a look at the American media and blogs and YouTubers and whatever, you will see an entire sea of conspiracy theories and ideas that no one understands. For example, the rest of the world doesn't understand their fascination with the supposed bad effects of vaccination and other things that we normal human beings consider to be absolutely normal. Okay, they are so stupid they don't understand that the government, it doesn't need to put a chip on you. The government doesn't need absolutely anything of the source to control you. Your bloody phone, okay, I can't show it because of the lightning, the blue. But your bloody phone is a very effective way of controlling you. Because today everyone needs a cell phone. Even me, that I don't have social media, I need to have a phone. Okay, personal reasons, okay, and for work reasons. I only use it to watch a couple of videos that I have in it, or listen to music sometimes, because it's cheaper than walking around with an MP3 reader or some shit like that, and to take and receive calls. I don't use the phone for absolutely nothing. I don't use it to go online, nothing. But let's carry on. Let's not drift into a rant about the uselessness of phones and social media. Right now, the United States is in a situation where uh, you have people trying to de escalate the situation, and you have people trying to escalate the situation. You have a person that is now convinced that they are going to probably invade Iran, take over an island that will be a constant source of problems to the United States. That number one, I'm unsure that they would be able to to even do that, to conquer the island, or to conquer it uh, without a human and a financial stress in the order of billions and thousands of soldiers dead or wounded or maimed. Okay, you understand what I'm trying to tell you? What I'm trying to tell you is that to conquer that island, it's not worth it. That island is basically a gas station, and you can only take fuel out of it or put fuel on it if you are able to pass to the strait. And across in the mainland, at arm's reach, so to speak, you have entire mountains with bunkers, with places where you can get shot at, where rains of missiles, of constant harassment can come from. So it's a useless project. From a military point of view, it's useless. From a political point of view, it's useless, and it's just putting shit upon shit, to be honest. Because you see, right now, Mr. Trump is in a situation of Zugzwang. If you don't know what it is, it's a chess term uh, from the German. That means that when you are in a position that whatever move you make, I like chess, whatever move you make, you will always lose. There is nothing you can do. All you can do is try to minimize the damage, but you will always lose something. And in this situation, uh, a normal functioning person would consider it's better to take some heat now but survive the day than to completely go all out into the mistake. This is like I will give this example because it's very easy for you. So it's very easy for you to understand. This is like you hitting your head in a wall once, and then because you don't want your mates to stop laughing or to think that you are not courageous, you continuously bash your head into the wall. If you only bash it once and you back out, your friends will call you stupid and why did you do that? But you will live to bash your head to the wall one another day. But since you are so proud, since you are so schizophrenic, so narcissistic, so idiot, you continue to bash your damn head into the wall because you don't want anyone to call you upon it. This is exactly what Mr. Trump is doing. And he has been doing it in everything. Everything. Okay? Because now he has all these Epstein files and all of that that when they finally come out, people will always say it's not a complete version because that is the purpose. The purpose of this entire theater is to dec- uh, take away the credit of the proof. Issue here is you have survivors. You have people that survived it and that are now talking about it. And you can question the survivors, okay? But the doubt will always remain. And this only happens because the American justice system is faulty. It's a failed justice system, okay? It doesn't work. Unless you're talking about picking up a drunk in a car or some shit like that, or someone that kills someone in broad daylight. Unless you're talking about that, it's a fault. It's a system that doesn't work. Sorry, forgive me. I'm a bit a bit tired. Sorry, long weekend. But what I'm trying to tell you is this: the justice system in the United States is created in such a way that you can endlessly create issues so it will not work. And that is the main difference with the so-called continental European system, or German French, if you want to be more precise. That is the type of justice that is used by most of the civilized world. And even countries that have a high degree of control of the state over the justice system, like China, which is an authoritarian regime, let's not beat around the bush, they still use the same basic principle of proof, a law, and a crime committed. You have to complete these three steps. You have to have a law, written law, not spoken law. You have to have a written law that condemns an action as a crime. I'm sorry if I'm being a bit technical, but this is very important for you to understand what I'm going to try to say. You must have a law that condemns a behavior or an action or whatever. You understand what I'm trying to tell you. Then you must have proof, whatever type of proof it is, testimonial, written proof, okay, physical proof, like for example, footage or something like that, that person that you can identify, person or persons or whatever you understand, committed that crime. And then you must have an intention. You must understand why did that person did that. And afterwards, you must have a condemnation. You must have written in the law what is the penalty that the state considers adequate for that type of behavior, and all the things that surround it. Because you see, for example, the figure of self-defense in our type of law, it's a very strict figure. Usually, and as I told you, I had law school. I went to law school. Okay, let's not beat around the bush. This is where I had political economics. You have an example where you have a case, a situation that is presented to you in law school, so you can understand what is happening. You have a case of a group of friends that go on a hike on a mountain, and then they enter in a cave, and when they are leaving the cave, one of the persons that is extremely fat gets trapped at the entrance of the cave, and there is no way to remove that person safely. People are starting to, they cannot breathe, they will starve, and they will die of thirst inside of the cave. No one can help them. There is absolutely no way. So what do? They kill the fat person, okay, so that they can open up the body, remove the body, and leave the cave. And the question is this: did these people committed a crime? Was this crime justified? And what penalty should they have? Let let this just sit in a bit in your reasoning. Okay, now, number one, these people committed a crime. They murdered someone. They assassinated another human being. But they were acting out of self preservation, self defense, not only to themselves, but to the other people in the group. So they had to do it. They needed to do that in order for that person, and all other people to survive. So they committed a crime, but there was no intention. They did not kill that person just because they wanted to, or just because they wanted money from that person. Okay? So you do not meet the requirements of a qualified murder, assassination. You do, however, have a murder. and that murder needs to have some kind of penalty. But that penalty has to be adequate to what these people did. And if it's justified, then in that case, it's up to the law and what the law what the law says the judge in this case should do in this situation. That is a bit more detailed, and I'm not going to go into it because it will be a bit more complicated. But you understand that is something that the law has. If you present proofs to the court, the law is also very strict. So in this case, uh, the equivalent to the DA here, okay, it would not be able to redact absolutely anything from the proof. They would have to present the proof as it is to the court. Then the judge or whoever was in charge of the investigation would look at the entire to all of the proof, and then they will see this is a crime, this is a crime, this might be a crime. Okay, what is this is a crime? Then they would move it forward in order to be properly investigated and proceed if it was the case to the trial part of the so-called judicial criminal judicial section of the case file. Okay, that might be a crime would be investigated, such as the mentions of Mr. Trump, of the president, in the Epstein files. This is how things would go. There will be there would not be any kind of reduction this or reduction that. There will leakages to the press will also be severely punished. It's even a crime here. We call it we call it segredo de justiça, just justice secret. This means that when the case file is in a determined phase of the inquiry, no one is allowed to leak informations about it. And when they do, it's a serious matter. And it happens, unfortunately, too many times. Okay? But it's a crime. If you are caught doing that, whoever you are, the judge, the court officers, okay, the lawyers, the defendants themselves, if you are caught doing that, you might get severe punishment. And it happens sometimes, and I have seen it happen right here in Portugal. Now, why do they do this? It's in order to preserve the integrity of the proof. Because look, this justice system works much better because it's based on facts. It's not based on assumptions. It's not based on a lawyer speaking very good. It's not based on the position of the person, the defendant or the accuser. It has to do with the facts, the testimony of different people that witnessed the facts or that know anything about the facts. Okay, the physical. It's very concise. It's very logic. It goes straight to the point and no shit. Now, of course, if you have a better lawyer, then a better lawyer will be able to play around with the different aspects of the law. That is also true. And if you have more money, you will be able to pay for a better lawyer. But the key issue here is this, is that right here in Portugal, I have seen people being defended by a lawyer appointed to them by the court that were very well defended because the lawyer was a competent person. This is called equality in weapons, so to speak. Igualdade de armas. This means that by principle, everyone must have the same ability to defend themselves. Now, Why is this important, and why have I spent around 10 minutes explaining this to you? Because you don't have that in the United States. You have a president that has been indicted or accused or mentioned, or even there is a suspicion that he is in some files related to crimes of child trafficking, sex trafficking, pedophilia, murder, uh, all an entire panoply of crimes that need to be investigated. You have already two people that were accused and jailed for it. One of them, Epstein, was found hanged in a jail cell. How it happened, I don't know. And the other one, she was arrested, and now she's in a uh, minimum security prison. This is the facts. If you see what happened, for example, in Europe, even in the UK, that has a law system that is very similar to the American law system, although it's a bit more concise and logic, perhaps due to the influence of international law right here in continental Europe. So it's not as bad, so to speak, as permissive is the word, as the American law system. Norway, immediate accusation everywhere. I saw it happen right here. The former Prime Minister of Portugal, Mr. Costa, that is now the president of the European Commission. Okay, there was a suspicion of fraud, and it was a minor fraud, to be honest. It was the attribution of public procurement to companies that apparently he was a friend of, some shit like that. The mere suspicion made him immediately ask for the suspension, then for his resignation as prime minister, and he only applied to the European Union after everything was cleared. Just to explain what happened, he was betrayed by a friend in cabinet. The friend was using his name to get leverage and access, allegedly. Okay, that's I know I don't want to accuse anyone, but whatever it is, whatever happened, even if he was completely cleared of all wrongdoing, hmm, the mere suspicion was enough for him to not be in that position. In the United States, has your president resigned? Has your president at least suspended his position as a president? No. You go around in circles. You have the so-called the Supreme Court that says no, you can continue to work, whatever, because your law is permissive. Your law is biased. Look, I don't like to talk about racial profiling and all of that because I was profiled myself because I'm not completely 100% Portuguese. I have talked about this and why it happened. But you profile black people, you profile Mexican people. You have a profile for everyone. And that is also something that is condemned here. Look, this doesn't mean that if you know that a person comes from a determined area of the city where crime happens and that person is of a determined ethnic group, that does not it does not mean that that person is not going to be perhaps more questioned or investigated by a police authority. But the key issue here is if that person is just sitting in a cafe, having their espresso, and not bothering anyone, no one is going to bother that person. And in the United States, I saw it through the eyes of another person, of other tourists that were in the United States, and how it was. Okay, you have this preconceived idea of, I don't know how to explain this to you, but look, it's like it's like this. I often say this, and my grandfather he talked about it too, but it's like money. For Europeans, money is a tool. It's something that you use to feed yourself, okay, to clothe yourself, to have a roof over your head, to buy things that you need, and for you and your family, whatever, for vacation, okay, whatever. But true Americans, money is a purpose. Why? Have you thought about what you talk about with your friends? Money. Would you believe that I have friends that are stupidly poor and stupidly rich, and that when we are together, we barely talk about it? We don't talk about it. We talk about our families. We talk about our lives. Things are going well, things are going bad. Okay, we talk about sometimes not even politics because we all have completely different ideas in terms of what politics is and should be. We don't talk about bloody religion. We don't talk about anything about that. We talk about life. We talk about important things for us. Sometimes we talk about sport, whatever. But I have never listened to someone starting a conversation in terms such as, so what do you do? So how much do you gain every month? How much are you earning every month? Do you have a car brand X or Y? Okay, where do you live in the valley? You live in downtown? Where do you live? Never. Usually, a conversation starts with, "Hey, how are you? Are you feeling all right? How's your health? Do you feel all right, my friend? So, are you still doing that thing? Do you still go to the beach every weekend? Oh, really? Hey, man, you sound a bit weird. Is something wrong with you?" Normal conversation. And to me, as a man, when I meet a woman, when I'm talking with her, I'm not asking her what does she does or how much does she earn or whatever. I'm talking with her. Just like when I meet another person that might be a potential friend or whatever. No, we talk about normal things. We see if there is chemistry between us. Okay, we see if we have common ground. For example, we see if it's a person that you might find agreeable to be around. The last and look, and we talk about these things. Okay, we talk about money. I have been in a position to, fortunately, to lend money to my friends because they needed it, and I was there for them because I'm their friend. Even if sometimes we spend a year without talking with each other. This is why connections here last, because we don't focus on things as such as money. Look, I'm not saying it's not important. Of course it's important. Of course it's important to have enough money to to have a car, to give to other people that you need. But it's a bloody tool. A tool. It's the same thing with weapons. Okay. Look, when I was young, okay, I knew how to hunt. I know how to use a hunting rifle. I know how to use a couple of weapons. I'm not going to talk about it, but I knew all of it. But when I started to hunt when I was very young, too young, sometimes I say, I realized that to kill an animal, it, I didn't like it. No, I like animals. So I simply stopped using the rifle. I never hunted again. My my license is long gone. Okay, it hasn't been renewed for right for some 30 years or some shit like that. So it's completely invalid. And I simply started to pursue animals with my camera, with my notepad to draw them because what I sometimes even when right now no, but I used to go through the bush with my bow, but I and took my notepad because what I liked was to pursue the animal and draw it. But this to say that when Americans talk about weapons, around here you can have a weapon. You can take a license and have a small weapon, a pistol, a gun, to defend yourselves. You can have it. If you feel like you need to, you can have it. But it's a process. You have to have a clean criminal record. You have to know how to use that, operate the weapon properly. Okay. And you need to pay the, the necessary licenses to own a weapon. And it's not that expensive. The weapon itself is expensive. But the license and all of that is perfectly affordable to anyone with a medium income. Same thing with hunting rifles. The place where I come from, the town where I come from, which is a more rural area, the countryside, okay, almost every household has a hunting rifle. Okay, it's normal. People that live in farms here, they have a hunting rifle. It's normal. It's not just okay. We don't have such a proliferation of big big wildlife. Okay, you have boars, you have some wolves, and little more. And you cannot shoot at the wolves because they are in an endangered species. Okay, but it's understandable that people have a weapon because sometimes the country is relatively safe. But sometimes we have criminals and someone might want to hurt them or something like that, and they need a weapon to defend themselves, okay, to defend their household and something that they can trust in. Sometimes it's more a psychological thing than that, but it's normal. And you go across the board here to Spain, it's the same thing. You go to France, it's the same thing. In France, men walk around with a pocket knife. It's a staple. It's more used to cut meat or cheese than as a weapon. But for example, when I was born, one of the first gifts that they gave me sold me because around here you don't give knives, you sell them for a symbolic value because it supposedly cuts friendship. But when I was born, I was offered a small pocket knife. I still have it. It's in my keychain. Okay, I use weapons, knives. I have a collection. I like them. Okay, I don't go around knifing people. I just like the aesthetics of it. I learned how to use them, just like I learned how to use an axe and a bow and a spear and a sword. And I'm talking too much, and people will think I'm some kind of lunatic. but no, I just like the aesthetic of it. Okay, but in Portugal and in France, it's very normal. In South Portugal, more in South Portugal, it's absolutely normal that people walk around with a knife in the pocket. Okay, because it's something a tool. But we look at these things. We look at knives. We look at weapons, at a rifle or a pistol, as a tool. And Americans look at it as a purpose. I have to have a gun to defend my property. And then it all becomes a snowball, okay? Because if you have a weapon, other people will have weapons. So you have the cops have weapons, the criminals have weapons, everyone has weapons, and everybody's shooting at each other. When you could limit this with a couple of simple laws. But what I'm trying to tell you with this entire history, with all of these rants, is a very simple thing. The United States cannot get rid of this situation in which they are because you have a president that is working in a completely different tune of the rest of the world. To be honest, America is becoming obsolete in the current world. You are becoming obsolete, just like Russia. And your president, right now, is benefiting Russia, letting them sell their oil. Your president has sent people to come here actively, to come here to Hungary and other European countries to disrupt elections. And then they think they are very smart and very intelligent, and that other countries are not looking and seeing what they are doing. Do you realize this? Imagine, imagine that you are something in the European Commission and you are seeing your president sending little Rubio and little Kushner and whatever to Hungary to support that lunatic Orban, that fat bastard, that all that he has done is steal from his country and prevent Hungary from developing. Can you imagine how everyone here in Europe is feeling? Do you think anyone will trust you again? Or when your president sent his little minions to threaten Portugal to buy the F-36, because we are not going to buy the F-36. We are buying Griffin and we are buying other jets because the Americans are simply untrustworthy. This is the reason, untrustworthy. And we have been buying American jets for ages. When Portugal was a dictatorship, we were buying American jets. And right now we are not going to buy. And not just jets, a lot of things. Coca-Cola was one of the first foreign companies that was allowed to set up in Portugal and produce. Right now, you have plants here in Portugal that produce American sodas. You have McDonald's, you have all of that. But I see people, and I have spoken about this in other videos, they are avoiding to buy American products. Even the products that are made here, they are made according to our rules. Our Fanta is a normal color. It's not a Fallout Nuka Cola color. And people are avoiding to buy it. Okay, I know people that work in the supermarkets. Okay, people that I talk to almost every day, and they keep telling me they are constantly moving it about because people don't, like we say here, não pegam nelas. They don't take it. Oh, look, of course they are selling. If they were not selling, things would not be there. But what I'm trying to tell you today is that people are losing the habit of buying them. The people that right now are boycotting it for plenty of reasons for what the US is doing to Canada, for what the US is doing to us, for what the US is doing to the world. It's like a toxic brand. You even feel guilty if you buy anything American. This is what your president is doing. This is something that Americans cannot understand because you work in a mental frequency completely different from ours. This is why I explain it to you that money for us is a tool and for you it's a purpose. And the way that you see look at weapons and all of that. This is why I was talking about because you are working in a completely different frequency than we are. And this is why you have a president that now has committed billions of dollars of your money in a fruitless war that is only leading to more allies to question why they should be allied with someone that is allowing this to happen. Why is the USA apparently the USA is going to war because Israel wanted. Israel right now is invading South Lebanon, is doing all of this shit, is doing God knows what in Gaza right now, and to think that now he's trying to blackmail us to go in and clean up his shit. And let me explain this to you. He might be able to blackmail a country or two, but that the governments of those countries will fall. I will bet I will bet you whatever money you want. Any country that supports this, that government is going to fall because people won't vote in them. I would not vote. If my government right now, even the use of our base in the Azores, Lajes, even the use of that base, to me, it's right here. It's stuck in my throat. That is one a reason why I will not vote for the current government if in the next elections. Even if you do an excellent job right now, I'm not going to vote for them because they did not have the guts to do exactly the same thing as the Spanish. And look, we are not allowing the United States to use the base as a logistic hub, but we are allowing them to refuel the damn planes there. And those planes are carrying ammunition and are carrying soldiers to go kill people in Iran. And I do not condone it. I don't like Iran. I don't like any kind of zealot governments. Cheers. I don't I don't think Iran is a democracy, for God's sakes. They kill their own people. But what I do know is that civilians are being assassinated by the United States and Israel. And that I don't condone. Civilians, I don't care if they are black, if they are white, if they are pink and polka dot blue. I don't care if they are Muslims, if they worship the spaghetti monster from outer space. I don't give a shit about it. They are civilians. No one deserves to die or live in such a manner. Those girls in that school that was built near a target, those girls didn't deserve to die. Neither did the rescue teams that rushed in and then got double tapped. They also don't deserve it. Civilians in Palestine, they don't deserve it. Civilians in Lebanon, they don't deserve it. And to be completely clear, civilians in Israel also don't deserve it for the shit their government has been doing. And Americans don't deserve the shit they are going to take and that they are already taking because of this shit. America has a simple decision to make. Okay? You either control your orange dog and maybe retain an ounce of your current position because you will not have it. You will not have the trust. You will not have the military dominance. You will not have anything in the next few years. Okay, it's all going to fade away. But you can, however, remain an important part. But in order to do that, you have to change everything. You have to change the legal system. You have to change the safeguards in your constitutions to avoid this shit from happening. You have to reduce your military apparatus because you will not be able to sustain it. And you have to be prepared to the fact that the dollar will not be the world currency. I'm being honest with you, okay? I'm being honest with you. You have more than one world currency. It might stay a world currency in name as a point of reference, but as to have that importance, that power that comes with it, no. And American citizens have to be prepared for this. You have to prepare yourselves. You have to you look because when Mr. Trump and the MAGAs and all of these dumb idiots that are in charge right now, when they are gone, if you are able to get rid of them, they are just a scab of a wound that is still festering underneath the skin. These people, they didn't come out of nowhere. These people are Americans like you. And when I see people say, oh, Trump is being manipulated by Israel and whatever, look, I don't care. I don't care who is calling the shots. In my opinion, they are both doing it for different reasons, for different objectives, but they are both partners in crime. And yes, Iran is not a nice place, and no, the Iranian government are not nice people. But the fact of the matter is this: if we tell Iran, stay in your corner and don't bother us, and Iran says, all right, no problem, I will stay in my corner, do my own thing, but you also don't mess with me. And we all agree to that, I don't care about it. It's up for the Iranian people to decide their future. I'm not bloody Iranian. I don't come from Iran. Okay? I'm not a citizen of their country. People need to stop messing and meddling with each other's business. Stop it. Take care of your own country, Americans. You don't take care of your healthcare. Take care of the cities of people without anything in your living inside of your own cities. Okay, take care of your poverty. Take care of the stupidity. Take care of the lack of education. Take care of that. You have plenty of shit to resolve inside your own country. You don't need to go now. You're trying to be some kind of evil empire. It won't end well. It won't end well. Take a look at history and see what happens. Empires either are reduced in their importance or they are destroyed. Portugal had an empire. Spain had an empire. France had an empire. Germany had an empire. Russia had an empire. England England had an empire. China had an empire. Right now, rising again. It's the rise and fall. There's a song by Halloween, a German band, a heavy metal band, that talks about this. It's the rise and fall. Go in and listen to that song. We need to understand that when change occurs, we either try to, like a surfer friend of mine says, we either try to navigate the wave or we get dragged underwater and spit to the shore by it. There's no other way of doing it. Well, folks, Thank you for listening to my rant. Uh, and I would like to thank you all for continuing to listening to me, for watching my videos, for commenting on them. It's very important to me, and I would like to thank you, say thank you to each and every one of you. As for the current state of the world, look, we all need to be calm. It's the only way that things are going to get solved because emotion emotions are extremely bad advisors. When you feel that emotion growing inside of you, you need to step back and see things with a clear mind. It's the only way. I know it's not easy. I struggle with it also. I'm human, but it's something that we need to do. Well, folks, thank you very much, and I hope to catch you all in the next video. Stay safe.